Hello there and welcome! Today I'm finally back with Alpine. Apologies for the wait, it's been a busy week, but we're going to continue around the grid. And last time I did ask if there were any complaints about our drivers, and they for sure were. Now, Schumacher and Sargent are probably a couple of the most error-prone drivers on the grid, at least in the game. So keeping them, I think, would be a way to spice things up. But there was a lot of hate for this, honestly, or rather disapproval, I guess you should, rather than hate. But I think the idea here is going to be that we keep into the summer break, we see how we perform, and if we need to do an emergency upgrade to get a good result this season, we're going to do that. Red Bull has been pretty good so far. We're in second place. We basically haven't done super well with both of our drivers scoring less points than the Sainz alone. But I don't think that's going to be a huge problem by the end of this year. Our car currently is getting better. We are first in a lot of stats. We are going to get a CFD front wing in the near future. We are still making our rear wing, and we also do need to get that second edition underfloor. I think we'll be fine, honestly, keeping Schumacher and Sargent. But if it all goes to shit, we're going to go ahead and replace him probably around the summer break. I think that is a acceptable compromise, maybe suitable compromise, something along those lines. But yeah, let's get into this. If you have enjoyed the series so far, please like, subscribe. That helps me out a ton. And yeah, let's just jump into it. So, we have Australia coming up in 12 days, and as you can see here, we are getting the rear wing completed actually today. So, we do need to manufacture that rear wing, and it is going to improve our car slightly. Get a little bit up to top speed. We're going to get the best DRS effectiveness on the grid, which doesn't say a lot when 50 is basically the best. But getting this new rear wing on the car is definitely going to be beneficial, so let's get that sorted. And also here, in terms of next CFD period, which we are going to be spending on the rear wing, it's going to take 50 days. So instead, let's get started on working on side pods and chassis, as we are going to probably run 5 design projects on these total in order to build a little bit of an upgrade. Kind of what I usually do. So basically, we do this 3-4 times, and then we'll have a sizable upgrade to put on the car. And basically, we don't manufacture the new chassis until we are on, say, C5 or C6. But yeah, let's jump into Australia here. Let's see what it has to offer. I'm going to continue to upgrade the buildings and hopefully keep the mentality at a high level. Yeah, because as you can see here, Mick is definitely taking advantage, and so is Sargent. So let's see if this helps us score a couple of good race sessions today. Qualifying here in Australia did not go well, 5th and 8th, and we're about half a second off with Schumacher with that new rear wing on the car, and even that did not really help us as much as we hoped, let's just put it like that. But on the flip side, because qualifying was wet, we have 2 mediums here, and that has kind of put us in an interesting position where we can try a strategy that for these guys, because they are lacking smoothness and our car is lacking smoothness at the moment, should be superior to anything else, and we'll have softs in case there is an interesting situation. So we're going to try something a little bit different and hopefully be able to snatch another podium. Hopefully our first win would be nice, but let's see how it goes here. Strategy is, as usually, under fuel, take care of the tires, and see if we can beat the AI that way. Lights out and away we go indeed. That's a pretty good start there from Schumacher. If he is brave here, he might actually send it on the Williams, but instead he sent it off the track. Sargent is making moves, getting a double overtake here most likely, maybe even a triple. So after losing a position, he gets that position and another back. So really good start. But yeah, the goal is very simple: manage fuel, manage tires, and try and turn our current situation into something a little bit better than our starting position. But Verstappen is already running away, not unprecedented, to be fair. We'll have to see if we can turn this around, as Yamamoto and Gasly are the only ones really near us on a different tire. We've had our first pitters here in Tsunoda, Albon, and a couple of others. Tsunoda is basically someone that we need to deal with at one point, but I don't think we should worry too much. Verstappen has burned his tires, Yamamoto has done the same. And in terms of pace off the leader, we're currently 5 seconds behind Verstappen, which is not actually a great position to be in here, as both of them do pit, including Piastri here. But what I think we kind of need to do is probably go a little bit on aggressive ourselves. Maybe manage that final hard stint a little bit more. We'll have to see. Degradation should be lower than expected. But we might end up in a little bit of traffic here, and honestly, it's just how things are going to have to be with this strategy. But it shouldn't be a big problem. As Schumacher flies into the pits here, we are already falling down the order. We're down to 6th, and we're probably going to come out barely within the top 10 here, as it is a busy track. But we do actually find Gasly here. And ahead of us, everyone has pitted, but they're on slightly worse time than we are. So hopefully we'll still be able to make something out of this race, but yeah, our drivers are basically holding the car back because we do have a car that is the best sort of for cornering. But that should make this season a little bit more fun, in my opinion. So for now, we'll allow things to progress as they are. And for Schumacher here, the goal now is just going to be to push, try and catch up, try and make up the lost time. And hopefully we can get something done here. Sergeant 2 with a clean stop, which is good to see. He's going to come out a little bit further ahead. We can see teammate in the back there. As we get slightly bullied by Piastri and potentially hit by Gasly as well. But for Sergeant here, clean stop. Shouldn't be a problem. Let's see if we can get ourselves back up into the podium spots. Just to give you an idea of how much trouble we might be in here, Sargent and Schumacher has not done the final pit stop, but so has everyone else. And that is going to keep things a little bit spicy here, because if we use 20 seconds on a pit stop, are going to end up outside the points with both drivers. Meaning in these last 17 laps, we are going to have a lot of work to do, and hopefully we can pull that off. I think we're actually going to do not really a little bit of a double stack here. We're going to have Sargent push one more lap before we go into the hard there. Going to go full attack. Softs might actually work out better here, but the hard has definitely less degradation than expected. And that's going to make things a little bit easier. But yeah, Verstappen is in lead, Yamamoto second, Sainz down in 4th, is going to be 3rd. Schumacher here, even with a clean stop, is coming out, as I mentioned, outside of the points. He's going to have 7 seconds to make up to get to 10th, and then, well, if we want to get back to a podium, we're a good 24 seconds off. So, life is tough. Let's just put it like that. As Sargent is still being a little bit annoying here for Sainz, but he does get that place eventually. And now Sargent is going to come into pit. And he should be expected to come out, if we're lucky, ahead of Schumacher. Let's just go with that. That's a slow stop too. Doesn't make life any better. 6.3 seconds. And even if we had a clean stop here, we would have come out behind Bottas, Norris, Gasly, and Piastri. In terms of tires here though, we do have a huge advantage. We have about 30% more. So we should be 3, 4, 5 tenths quicker a lap. And with 15 laps to go here, I think we might still be able to turn this into something good. To make matters worse now, we have a safety car after Tsunoda has crashed. And that is basically the worst time safety car. Well, not the worst time, but one of the worst time safety cars I've ever had. And honestly, I'm a bit surprised it didn't go directly to a red flag. But this basically means everyone will be able to pit. Any advantage that we have is a forfeit. And honestly, the only thing we can do at this point is we could gamble on staying out here. We actually have enough time that we could do that. Let's be honest here. Everyone ahead is going to pit. So the question then just boils down to, would it be better here to pit onto a soft tire for the last laps of the race, or would it be better to stay out, get track position, get back up to 5th to 6th place maybe? That's going to be the reality of the situation. No way we're jumping any higher than that. We'd be up to 4th since there's no us out. And I think the play here is to probably get Schumacher in. Sargent can run full attack till the end here, no problem. But Schumacher will need a soft tie to be able to compete here, I think. It's going to be 0.3 seconds lag quicker. Let's just go and contend, or rather go and consult with the strat planner, because this thing generally will tell me what we can expect here. So if I go a soft, it's not going to be much better. You can see it's not going to be much better in terms of lap time. I think we stay out with both cars. I think we gamble on staying out. We use them kind of out to defend each other, if we can. And honestly, I think that is the only option that I have available to me now. Verstappen in the pits. Yamamoto, Sainz, we're not going to get any of these guys because, let's face it, they're just too quick. Bottas is who we're going to hope to jump here. And let's see now, where exactly does he come out? Gasly, Albon, Bottas, they are clearing the pits right now. Sargent's up to 4th. Schumacher, oh my god, I made a mistake. I actually sent him into the pits. And it was a slow stop.
Now there's been an issue in the pits.
I realized I didn't cancel the pit stop. That's on me though. But yeah, Schumacher now is going to have to make up some places. But as mentioned here, for Sargent and Schumacher, if we'd done this correctly, probably would be to the bench to just have them kind of take care of each other, get up there to the front. And as you can see, everyone is on either a soft or a medium tire. So this is going to be an interesting end to this one.
Okay, so let's concentrate on the tire warm-up.
That's a very frustrating mistake to make, though. 10 laps to go. How quickly can we burn that soft tire is going to be the question now. Aggressive would be enough to destroy it, but we could actually run that till the end. I think we're just going to run standard on Schumacher. We might even turn him to light. And the reason for this is, again, very simple. We're going to end up in a DRS train here. There's no other way around it. Try and use tire advantage in the last, like, 5 laps, maybe.
Okay, safety car in.
No, it's just 10 laps. It doesn't really... It doesn't really make sense to even try that now I think about it.
No more lift and coast required. Copy.
Let's see how this restart goes. With Sargent, looks like he's doing okay. Schumacher, no moves back there. I need Sargent here to stay with Sainz, which is going to be difficult. And for Schumacher, we're going to need him to pull an overtake at 3 here. Main thing also I do need to pay attention to is energy, because the more energy I save, the better. The more energy we have for later, the better it's going to be. And if Sainz and Yamamoto are going to be feuding like that, we might be able to snatch a podium here. But yeah, for Schumacher's sake, definitely the wrong move here to pit him. There's just no way around it. That was a mistake on my part. We do need, again, we don't really have a choice here. Save energy. Try and make a move later on. Deploy a little bit here for Sargent so he doesn't fall too far behind. Hopefully we can get back within DRS range. And that's kind of what that's kind of all we can do here. Try and manage, try and stay within that DRS range, because if we do not, we're going to get eaten up. And honestly, fighting for a podium position here is probably beyond us. So, fighting with Albin for that 4th place finish is probably the best we can do. And having him DRSs is not a bad thing in its own right. But yeah, let's see what we can do. It's 6 more laps to go. Schumacher here. Again, there isn't really much you can do in these DRS trains, which makes them painful to deal with. Well, Sargent here is fine, just keeping him as he is. Schumacher, however, I do kind of want to try and harvest a little bit. Norris and Piastri are still kind of running side by side. They are opening themselves up for attacks. That is a very wide turn from our boy. And we're going to put you up to top of 2. We're going to get you to conserve fuel. Recharge that last little remnant that we need. And Gasly has picked up some sort of damage there. Bottas is also overtaking Sargent. That's not good. Schumacher is also falling outside of the DRS range of the car ahead. That's also not good. Yeah, for now I just need these boys to kind of stay where they are. Again, there isn't really much I can do here. For Schumacher, the goal would be to just start pushing very, very soon. We have battery for both of them. That battery is going to be key to anything that we try and do. With Bottas here potentially linking up again with the top 3, getting an overtake done now would be actually peak. So I need you to full send. Referee! Referee! Yes. I jinxed it.
Some small floor damage, right-hand side.
Hulkenberg is overtaking Schumacher. Driver is really important, as it turns out, for your performance. It's actually kind of ridiculous. But yeah, for Sargent here, he should still be okay. He still has DRS to hold on to, and let's face it, Piastri's a little bit further down the road. Schumacher, it's definitely time to go full attack. It's definitely time to try and launch any sort of attack, really. Look at the straight up just roadblock that's in the way ahead here. Sauber and Norris just side by side. That's a good move. Need one more good move. Minimum here. A little bit too aggressive changing of the camera angles here, perhaps. Maybe switch back to this one. Come on, just full send it. Sargent is doing good though. Like, what we haven't been watching is basically making his way up to the podium places here. With 2 laps to go. And he's clever enough to just stick behind Sainz. I wish I could give that as an order. Come on. Yes, that's one more point. That's kind of where the pain begins more. But we did actually leave Piastri behind. Sargent has been overtaken here. Not really a big surprise. But it's not the best place, I'd say, for Sainz to make that overtake right before the DRS zone here.
Starting last lap.
Question now is, do we play for this DRS zone? I think the answer to that is yes. If we get re-overtaken here, no biggie. Oh, never mind. We have DRS.
Good job.
We're gonna have to push. For Schumacher here, we're just gonna give him everything. For Sargent, we're gonna basically micromanage him here, try and get that last podium spot. I think we might have just barely done it here.
DRS disabled, DRS disabled.
But yeah, looking at Sargent, definitely the best choice there would have been to stay out. We do secure a podium. Schumacher just couldn't get the overtakes done, which is very unfortunate, but just the reality of the situation. Verstappen pulls the win, Yamamoto second, Sargent third. It's not looking great. It's not looking great at all, but hopefully my copium will extend to the next race weekend. And we did have some bad pit stops. We had a very terrible strategical decision from my side. But that was a good starting race, I think. As we get a race sim update, Pat Fry levels up, and also chassis has been completed. But yeah, damage to the underfloor on from running wide is pretty bad. But yeah, definitely screwed over Schumacher a little bit there. I didn't intend to pit him. He still got pitted. I went peak Ferrari strategy, let's just put it like that. But with Japan coming up, let's see if we can turn things around. We are getting that second underfloor. We're getting the front wing. We should be able to make at least one of each before we go to Japan. We might need to rush them. But that should make us a little bit more competitive. Fortunately for us, I don't even have time to finish my turning tour until we get a wind tunnel data concern. Good morning. Concerning irregularities in wind tunnel, pause all current car design projects. And honestly, we do that because if we're wrong, it's going to be pretty bad. In this case, though, that means that we're not getting these parts until another 9 days have passed, which means that we are going to get them the week after Japanese GP, giving us plenty of time, however, to get them prepped before China. So that sucks, but it is what it is. Let's see what Japan has to offer. For Japan here, qualifying went incredibly poorly. We're 7th and 8th after a pretty terrible Q3. Schumacher and Sargent both had basically half a second worse time than they did in Q2. And that is going to make things a little bit spicy here. I also did mess up Sargent's fuel. I got distracted. Got to tune it down. So he is currently on a bit of an alternate strategy to Schumacher, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal. We could, worst case scenario, take a look and see if that actually affects his race time in any way, shape, or form. But with that said, we're currently 7th and 8th. We are falling behind the top teams here. Tsunoda has very worn tires already. Everyone ahead of us did start on more worn tires, with the exception of Yamamoto and Verstappen. So we'll have to see if we can close the gap back down and maybe turn this race into something a little bit better than a 7th and 8th finish.
Now we're at turn 11 now. Well, you can see the lockup. By that point, it was just too late.
Well, the second I started thinking that maybe we'll be able to turn this into something better, Schumacher decided to get himself down to, well, 13th place. The only positive is it didn't have too much of an effect on his tires. But even then, this is going to suck pretty badly. He was at very high confidence when it happened too, which is even more of a unfortunate event, I guess I should say. But yeah, we have no choice but to try and make a recovery. As mentioned just a little while ago, we get our next upgrades after this race. From bad to worse, we have Schumacher here with a follow-up. And he hits the back of the ATG car. Got some railing damage and sending that car into a Ferrari. So Schumacher is kind of in a very, I don't know, weird situation, I guess I could say. I don't know how I want to play this, honest, at this point. He's down to 15. He has picked up damage. He caused damage to Hamilton. We caused damage to Rivas, who's down now in last. Damage that we did pick up on the front wing for us is very minor, and we do have a penalty. Honestly, at this point, I think the play here for Schumacher is pit, serve the penalty, and hope that we get a red flag. I think that's going to have to be the best option here, because we have 10 seconds worth of penalties. I think we go hard. Hards are terrible around here, generally, but just go hard, go full attack. Try and see if we can change something around here, because the soft tire is done for. Well, not really done for, but as you can imagine, it's virtually broken. And also, we're going to go ahead and just replace that front wing as well. Because as I mentioned here, the goal is going to be to try and make some sort of recovery through either a red flag, a safety car, because literally that is the only thing we can bet on. We're already 10-second penalty, 27. We're basically lost right now. So we might as well get in the pits, get things sorted, build some confidence running in clean air. Not by getting full brake like that. It's very, very annoying and pitiful, I guess I could say. But sometimes that's just how things are, and we're serving our penalty here now. Let's hope we did not serve it incorrectly, although I don't think that's possible. So 18-second stop here. We're in the pits for a good 45 seconds. And we now come out 30 seconds behind Rivas. That's a lot of time to make up to get up to last place, but with Hamilton now having some damage, I don't think it's rear wing damage, however. Doesn't look like it, so potentially suspension. Rivas having rear wing damage, and Stroll just being Stroll and picking up some underfloor damage, I think. Schumacher's going to have a really, really tough job ahead. Let's see what we can do. We're getting closer to the first pit stop window, and by that time, we have caught somewhat up to some of the cars here, Alonso in particular. But as you can see, most cars here as they pit are going to be able to pit and come out well ahead of us. Show, Ocon are probably going to be a couple of cars that won't, maybe Lawson and Rick. For the most part here, Schumacher is actually going to struggle to just get in the points, and yeah, that's not a good look. For Sargent here, we are pushing these softs right now. We are going to be pitting probably on this following lap, trying to make a little bit of a gain here on the 2 Red Bulls. Science is pitting just now. But yeah, it looks like this is going to be a hard weekend for us all together. But not really much we can do about it. Just try and tough it out. At around the halfway point of this race, we have Sargent up in 5th. He's not too far off the lead here, 7 seconds, but still going to be a bit of a tough job here. I don't think Sainz and Bottas are going to go to the end of their tires here, but if they are, that would be impressive. And at the same time, we just now had Mick do his pit stop. As we have yet another incident, this time involving Hamilton, and is that Stroll maybe? Yeah, not really the best weekend here for Hamilton in the Ferrari, and also a bit of a slow stop there from Schumacher by the looks of it, 17th. So, yeah, currently half a minute of points. And we are going to try and just run this medium set standard, try and just limp till the end. And hopefully take advantage of a potential safety car, because honestly, there's not really much else to do at this point. For Sargent, we're kind of doing it. We're going to be doing another stop. We are running the mediums 2 aggressive sets because he doesn't have a fresh soft. Let's see if we can get him back up on the podium and maybe snatch the win away from the Red Bulls, as Bottas is currently enjoying a rather good race himself. Things are heating up even more as we now have a virtual safety car as Show has found the wall. So we are having incidents as expected, but unfortunately not at a timing we can take advantage of. Ooh, that's actually a pretty terrible crash, I would think, if it happened in real life. So very, very unfortunate for Show. Quick update still, we are running, again, 5 seconds off a podium at the moment. The rest are pushing. And I do believe the hard runners are going to pit again, similarly to us. So that's going to be a little bit exciting. Schumacher, again, we need a red flag or a safety car if he's to have any sort of chance here. And even then, it's going to be a long shot. Let's see if we can make something happen. Schumacher's evening gets even worse as he has another lockup similarly to the one he pulled the first time around. And with that, he has destroyed any chance of bringing these medium tires till the end of the race weekend. To the end of the race weekend, if you will. As we see another yellow flag, this time not for us, but for Russell. We get a lock up in the same corner. Nope, he's on a different part of the track. Bit unfortunate, but it's been an eventful weekend so far. Seems like it's still going to keep on being eventful, and we could still have crashes and what's worse here. But yeah, for Schumacher, we're just going to push these mediums, push him onto the final soft. And again, just hope. We are about to pit Sargent, who is literally our only hope for a points finish. Verstappen is on all the softs, but I don't think we're going to catch him. Sainz is still out on those hards. He's definitely planning to go to a soft tire, I would think. Bottas on a medium. Alpine is pitting right next to us, actually. So that's good. One less car to get through, 2.4 seconds. And the reality here is that we come out in a okay-ish window. Unfortunately, we do still need to clear Piastri here, but that shouldn't be a huge deal. We have energy, we have fuel. So we can just take advantage of him to help heat up tires a little bit more. And then just push for the overtake. The rest of the cars ahead do not need to pit. And let's be honest here, we're not going to be able to catch Sainz even if it does pit. So the goal here is still Yamamoto. 16 seconds is what we need to close in 15 laps. That's probably going to be a little bit too rough for us, but we'll see what we can do. We are getting increasingly close to the race here. Close to the end of the race. As Sainz is now up into 5th and chasing Tsunoda. It's 6 seconds up to the podium after we get by. But honestly, I don't see that happening. So a 4th place is probably the best thing that we can hope for here. Schumacher, still not really in a good position back here. There's no need to lie. He's good 20 seconds with 4 laps remaining of points. So that's not happening. Let's be honest. We're still going to allow him to try. We're going to try and play it safe. Dude's already tried to destroy the car a couple of times. I'm not going to give him any extra help in achieving said destruction. So for Sergeant here, again, the goal should be to try and hunt down Bottas. Tire advantage is very minorly in our favor. And for Verstappen here, his tires are starting to kind of go off. But it's 13 seconds to us. It's 8 seconds to Bottas. It's not happening. I don't think it is. But at this point, go full attack. Use what extra fuel we have. If we had a full battery, I would say we might be able to catch Bottas here, but it's going to be probably a little bit closer than I'd like. Probably going to just be outside of DRS on the last lap, and that's going to be the unfortunate truth of the situation. Let's go ahead and use what energy we have. There's no use sparing it here. And we are getting closer. 2.1 seconds. That's all our energy used. And that's going to slow us down on this lap in comparison. So while we go close, unfortunately, as mentioned, I don't think we're catching him by the end. So we're just going to speed it up a little bit. 1 lap to go. No DRS, no energy, no anything to help us here. Not even the back marker was able to give us DRS. And maybe chance will appear here because Bottas is getting some traffic. A little bit. But unfortunately not enough to cause an actual problem. Sainz wins. Verstappen's going to come second. Bottas almost caught Verstappen. We almost caught him here. Tire-wise, he was 25. Schumacher. We can have him push a little bit here. See if he can get at least one more car.
Overtake button available.
Pride thing. More so than anything else. But yeah, Sargent here gets 4th. And this Alpine pain train is starting to look even more painful. Perhaps we need to reconsider my initial estimates of getting a new driver in at the summer break, basically. But yeah, that was a disappointing Japan. Very disappointing, honestly. Good race from Sargent. If Schumacher's done the same, maybe it would have been a little bit better. Right now, the Red Bull duo is just a little bit too strong. Let's put it like that. Just a little bit too strong for my liking. And yeah, not a good race weekend here for Schumacher. But we technically beat all of our goals. I'm wondering if I update the contracts, they're gonna find harder. Who knows? But as mentioned here, we are getting some new stuff, namely the underfloor. And as you can see, this one is actually going to be not really a direct upgrade as we already first in the cornering departments, but 41, 14, 17, all this is going to be hugely beneficial. And because we do need results soon, I'm going to rush 2 of these before we go into China. Next up, we're going to get another sidepod design underway. And again, this is just for basically producing something better in the future. We don't have a decent amount of engine cooling here. But we're running Renault engines anyway, so it shouldn't be a huge deal. So we might end up using this spec a little bit sooner than planned. Because, let's face it, the extra amount of top speed here could be really, really nice to have. That is also something that we will have to give a little bit of a think. We're getting the front wing in a day. Let's see what that is. And suspension in 3 days. That's not actually one that we'll use, though. Minor technical changes, 10 or 5%. We're going to vote for 10% across the board. And we're going to have a look now on that front wing. This is the CFD Investor front wing, I believe. This one isn't a huge upgrade, as you can see. It is an upgrade, but it's not a massive one. But I still think that we're going to need this one, so I'm just going to make 4 of these. And if we now design another one right away, we should be seeing some bigger gains than just 14. And survey says a lot bigger gains across the board. Our donate tolerance might also be a bit of a concern because at 40 you're going to start seeing problems. At 33 you're not going to be a happy camper. So this front wing is going to solve actually a lot of our problems. But yeah, that should be good enough. Durability, 2 ticks. That's good enough for me. And I'm going to put 6 engineers on this. I'm not going to bother rushing it. I think we'll be fine. We're still going to get it before we go to Imola, Monte Carlo, or Monaco. So this should be okay. The only thing is we do need to get started on the rear wing once we get our next safety period. That is going to be, I believe, at the end of this month. So, yeah, we still have a little bit of work ahead of us. But so far, it's looking good. Let's see if China, with a new front wing, with a new underfloor, is going to give us something a little bit better than the really, really poor result we had in Japan. For the sprint here, we've done a pretty basic thing that we usually do, which is to run a light strategy compared to what the AI does. And as you can see here, definitely had a huge effect. We have basically used half of the tire of the AI, and we are keeping up with the Red Bulls. We did qualify 5th and 8th, so we actually had a pretty good run so far. But yeah, AI sprint tire management leaves a lot to be desired, and we do definitely need to score good points here. So let's just pray that our boys can play nice with each other, and that we can clear the Red Bulls. And honestly, I'm going to give Schumacher here a little bit of deploy. It's still 7 laps remaining. So if we can get basically at least one Alpine ahead of a Red Bull, that would be a good start here. That way we, again, can avoid hopefully taking each other out, which would be very, very good. Let's just say it like that. And with energy here, easily gets past, but you can kind of see the Red Bull top speed there, definitely doing some work. But now that we have both of our cars kind of well situated, I'm just going to allow things to kind of run their course, I guess you could say. I'm also going to go ahead and out and give Schumacher a little bit of a deploy and push, because I think with the energy we have, with the time that we have, we should have no problem creating a 1 second gap to Verstappen in the next few corners, next few sections. And if we can do that, then Sargent's going to have a much easier job getting his own overtake done. And as you can see here, Schumacher has already pulled almost 3 seconds off in what basically amounts to 1 sector. That's kind of insane, but we will take that. I'm also going to put him on conserve for a little bit, just to make sure that we do get the fuel back on the positive side. And for Sargent now, we should be seeing an overtake, and we're actually just going to do the exact same thing that we did with Schumacher, but probably going to wait a lap or two, just in case we get re-overtaken here with the DRS. But looks like that's not happening, so we're just going to go ahead and deploy, push, and kind of run away. And that should hopefully be our first 1-2 for the season. It's a sprint, so it doesn't really count, I guess you could say. But at the same time, it's huge to finally have a good result in our favor. And it does hopefully mean that we're going to have a promising result in the actual race. But yeah, let's see if we can keep this going until the end of this sprint race. We were able to hold out here without incident. Schumacher wins, Sargent comes second, and we actually have a third place here for the Williams, which, again, is huge for us, because the more points the Yamamoto is snatched from Verstappen and Red Bull at this point, the better. So that is not a bad start to our weekend. Let's see what the race has to offer. For the race itself here, we actually had a fairly decent qualifying session, with Sargent finding 3rd and Schumacher finding 7th. It's actually pretty close. It's just a couple of tenths between these boys. So it's just competition being actually competition that is slowing us down. In terms of strategy here, we could do a couple of different things. For Sargent, we could go hard, and honestly, we might still do that. It's going to strongly depend on the degradation on the hard tire here. Schumacher only has 1 hard tire, so here too we have the option of going with a medium instead of a soft. Pretty much similar in terms of pace, but we'll have to see what we end up doing here. I'm a little bit undecided at the moment. We are going to underfuel, like we usually do, but as mentioned, we'll have to see if there's an incident happen that changes our strategies. We do have some tires available. Again, 2 softs, 2 hards here for Sargent. For Schumacher, medium hard, and 3 softs. So should be an interesting race here. And honestly, we do need this one. We do have the new front wing. We do have the new underfloor. So we've gotten a little bit of a boost compared to last race weekend.
And it's lights
Lights out and away we go. We're going to go very aggressive right away. Bit of a poor start here from Schumacher. Bit of a poor start from Sargent as well, but he should be able to come back here, I think, once he gets on the inside. And honestly here for Mick, it's a pretty terrible start altogether. There's just no way around it. Loses a position there. Might get it back here. I'm not holding out hope though, but he actually did pretty aggressively. Well done. But yeah, Bottas, Yamamoto on the front line here. Track doesn't really seem to be favoring Red Bull much, and hopefully we'll be able to take that, use that to our advantage here. Sorry, I've forgotten how to speak. It's been a while since I last recorded. Been a busy week, but let's see what we can do here. So the first 10 laps have actually put us in a bit of a insane situation, I dare say, as we are running 1-2 with Gasly and Bottas 3rd and 4th, Tsunoda in the mix. And honestly, Gasly, Bottas, both of them are going to have to pit soon. Same can actually be said for everyone here with the exception of the hard runners, who still has used more time than we have. So it's a very, very promising start to this race, and honestly one that we can capitalize on. We'll have to try and manage our tires though. We are still running light, and as you can see, one of our drivers have temperature issues while the other is fine. Basically, we're switching back and forth. It is kind of solving most of these issues, but it's not a perfect fix. So temperature is going to be a little bit of concern. I think we'll be able to manage though. We are getting increasingly closer to the pit stop window. We're going to do probably 2-3 more laps here before we go onto the hard tire. And as you can see, to Tsunoda, who is the first one that has pitted, we're about 30 seconds ahead. Pit stops here take about 25 seconds, so we will still come out in net first if we were to pit right now. But Tsunoda is definitely fast. He has gone to medium tire, and honestly, even if he does overtake us here when we pit, I don't think it's going to be a huge problem. So I'm fine with staying out a little bit longer. We're going to get Schumacher in on this lap. We're going to have to stretch that final soft stint or medium stint a little bit, but that should be fine. And for Sargent, we'll get him in on the following lap. I would like to do it the other way around, but Schumacher has used more tire. He's in a more precarious situation, if you will. So let's just get him into the pits first. And let's hope we have a very, very clean stop, which we do. And with that, we are now coming out ahead of Tsunoda. And while Schumacher is probably going to get caught up here because of tire temperature differences, that shouldn't be a huge deal. We are still running that first. Yamamoto, Verstappen, both of them are going to have to pit very, very soon. And once they do, they should be, again, 15 seconds behind both of our cars. Starting now, going down the long straight, he too will be pitting very, very soon. We have probably left him out a little bit too long here, honestly. But with the gap here, he should still be able to beat Tsunoda out. He's not going to beat his teammate, but Tsunoda should be no problem if we have a clean stop, that is. That is fairly clean. And we do beat Tsunoda out, kind of as we expected here. And it's a little bit too close for comfort. I do believe Tsunoda is going to catch us. There's just no way around it. But now, we're just going to burn these hard tires. We'll have to see what the degradation's like. And then we'll make a decision on what we do for our final stints. Schumacher continues his spell with...
This is pretty badly damaged, I can see already.
Schumacher continues his spell of random bad luck and picks up some underfloor damage. That's not going to be great, and if we lose out here due to that, I'm going to be very upset. But yeah, it is the reality of the situation. Underfloor damage has just randomly been picked up. He has not crashed into his teammate. He's not running over a curb. It's just randomly popped up, so that's not good. But there's nothing I can do about it at this point. We'll just have to try and manage it as best as we can. Life is pain. That's what I call this art piece you can see on your screen right now. I call it Life is Pain. Because Schumacher has figured out a way to eat the wall. And with that, he has absolutely destroyed the car. No gearbox, no ERS, no engine left to use whatsoever, basically. Terminal damage to 3 components. I don't know what he's done here, but he's also lost 4.5 seconds in just a few laps into his teammates, so that underflow really messed him up. But he still has medium confidence where he sits in his car, so that's funny. But yeah, that is not a good one, because this was our big chance to relearn some points from Red Bull. And right now, Schumacher is kind of making that a little bit more difficult. We have a virtual safety car right now. But what exactly happened here? Let's have a look at that first. Just straight up lost it, spun into the wall. Nothing much we can do about that. There's a pitting under virtual. We'd save just 3 seconds. So I think we just stay out here. We are under no pressure to pit. Tsunoda, signs, you know, a lot of these others I think will pit. But unless it is a full safety car, we don't really get any advantage of pitting here. We still have a lot left on these hards. And us being able to use the soft towards the end of the race will be far more valuable than any gain we get from pitting now into the virtual. And by looks of it, everyone is kind of thinking the same. No one is jumping into the pits. But we did need a brilliant performance from Tsunoda, brilliant performance from Yamamoto, Gasly, Bottas. We need basically anyone that we can hope for right now to slow down Red Bull. But yeah, that sucks. It is what it is. We'll just have to deal with it. Hopefully we can get a new car put together before the next race in Miami. But for now, let's see what Sargent can do here. Virtual safety car is ending. We have quite a few laps remaining here, 23. Let's see if we can keep things going until the next pit stop. With just 16 laps remaining here, the time has come for us to pit. And we are going to go for the soft tire here. 3.2 seconds is the estimation of how much quicker it's going to be per lap. And as you can see, we've gone a good 4 or 5 laps over the expectation here. And that is both so we can run the soft on standard towards the end, but also so that we can, well, take advantage of being on a soft tire. Tsunoda and Sainz, I believe, have both pitted. And as you can see, everyone has actually behind us. So we're going to come out behind Sainz here. And we're going to have 6 seconds up to Tsunoda, which honestly isn't a big deal because they're on hard tires. They're not going to be fast by any means of the imagination. So as long as this pit stop is clean, which it kind of is, 2.6 seconds there, we should be able to close down that gap with relative ease and get the position back. And honestly here, I think we're just going to run standard to get heat into these tires. Because again, we have just so much tire left over here towards the end that we want to catch Sainz here as quickly as possible. We want to catch Tsunoda as quickly as possible, and then get away towards the end of the race. And that shouldn't be a huge deal. Should be pretty straightforward and simple, actually.
Right, we're at turn 40.
We're getting our first overtake here on Sainz. Pretty straightforward, just get it done with DRS. Now, for Tsunoda, the job's going to be a little bit harder because he ran away. All 3 of these cars were actually running pretty close to each other, but back markers caused a little bit of a problem. But with 10 laps to go here, I'm not worried. We still have a huge advantage in terms of tire over the hard here. We can run light, so I am not concerned at all. We do also have a car between us. I'm afraid that's Stroll, which it is, which honestly is kind of scary because Stroll could very well take us out. I'm not going to lie, Stroll is a menace in the game. But looks like we got by pretty easily, and I'm actually going to use a little bit of energy here to just close up to Tsunoda. Once we have closed up, we're going to just recharge a little bit, unless we just straight up run away here, which honestly I think is very doable. Let's just see if we can get within DRS before we get to the straight here. And if we do, using energy and fuel should be enough to get the overtake done, and then just run away on the next one, so to speak. That's a pretty bully way of getting past there. Gain a second and a half in basically a corner. And with that, we're now off to the races. I don't think we really have anything to worry about here. We should be seeing a Sargent win very, very soon.
That's good. Good job.
Everybody should be super proud of that.
Over and out.
While China had its ups and downs, we did get our first win there, and as I mentioned, we're now second in the championship. We're now just 23 points behind Sainz, who's actually the biggest threat on actually Verstappen. And honestly, it's a bit disappointing that Schumacher didn't score the points that we needed. Basically, we could have closed this gap by a lot more. But it is what it is, and we'll just have to try and make the best out of the situation. There's actually no other way around it. And that is what we'll do. We have United States coming up here in 11 days. And if we take a look at Schumacher's car here, he's missing a chassis, rear wing, underfloor, and suspension. The powertrain shouldn't be an issue for the most part. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to put in some effort here to get that car repaired going into the next race weekend. However, I think we're going to have to end it here. I am planning to sit down and record a lot more this weekend, hopefully so we can get daily, every second day videos next week. As this week has been very disappointing for me in terms of recording. I just haven't had the energy to sit down, record, or even edit the things that I already had in terms of other games, because work has been extremely taxing. We've been lacking a lot of people. It sucks. But hopefully this weekend I'll be able to prepare something for you guys next week. I apologize for the lack of content. It's not me getting burned out with the game. It's been a worry, I guess, for some of you. It's more me just being tired of, well, work in general. So yeah, hopefully this week will be a little bit better. I am going to be testing out Microsoft Flight Sim, editing that for tomorrow, so you can look forward to that if you've been eyeing that game, trying something a little bit different. But yeah, our journey here is continuing. Alpine is giving me the pain that I guess I deserve for making fun of them. Let's see how things go next time. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.